everyone responds when they get a calling from the water. I am back with another spooky story. And it really seems like mermaid sightings are very common in South Africa, especially with these stories that I get submitted. We're gonna call the person who submitted this story Zendele. So Zendele is from South Africa, her grandmother is from Malawi, and her grandfather is from Botswana. From a young age, Zendele always saw something, some being that she couldn't quite describe, especially when she was near the water. Her grandmother used to take her on church picnic trips, and they always went to the same park. Every time, them kids will always end up by a river or a lake, throwing pebbles into some water. Without fail, every single time, Zendele would see something, a presence with this huge face and these captivating eyes. It was so intense, but she always dismissed it because the other kids never saw what she saw. Then when Zendele was about 8 years old, they went back to the same park. But this time, when they got near the body of water, Zendele froze completely. She could not move. The other kids are looking at Zendele and they're panicking, like, why is she frozen? So they ran to get her grandmother. The grandmother came back, and they said that she spoke in a language that no one could understand. And just like that, she snapped out of the trance. And when she asked her grandmother what had happened, her grandmother told her just never go near the water again. And she did it. Zendele's grandmother passed away when she was just 10 years old, and she never told her grandfather about what she had experienced. She was raised by her grandma and grandfather, so after her grandmother died, she basically kept that secret in the vault. Years later, when she was grown, her grandfather passed away too, about 5 years ago. She was devastated. In her culture, there's a mourning period, and on the final day, they're supposed to be cleansed. Because Zendele was the one caring for her grandfather, there were special steps that needed to be followed, but they weren't. After that, nothing in her life was going right. So she went to see a prophet, a Sangoma, to get herself cleansed. And the Sangoma told her that she carried a water spirit and that she could not cleanse her inside of a river, that it had to be outside of the water. So they went ahead with the cleansing. During the ritual, Zendele started speaking in a language that no one else could understand. She tried to escape, running towards the water, not away from it. It took all of 4 people to hold she down. Prophet said, and I quote, "You were going to be taken." After that, things changed for Zendele. Life got better. She ended up buying a house. She had like 2 other properties before that one. But when she stepped into that particular house, she said she literally saw her grandfather standing inside the house. And that's what made her choose that particular house. The house is right by a river, just 20 feet away. Now, strange things started happening. Every night she would hear drums coming from the river, and she lived in the suburbs, so that definitely was not normal. And there's also this giant tree by her fence. It sings every day, and it's always full of the most beautiful birds that Zendele has ever seen. It rains constantly here, so the sound of flowing water is always in the background. So one day her uncle came to visit, and out of nowhere he said, and I quote, "Stay away from the water. Our people are there. They could take you if you go." Well, a few weeks ago, Zendele woke up to the sound of someone falling. And when she looked out the window, she saw a figure washing themselves in the river. She couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman, just a person, bent over the water, splashing. She thought she was hallucinating, so she video called her sister, and she saw it too. They both watched as this figure slowly faded away. Zendele knew that was a sign. 2 days later, there were heavy floods in the area. Almost everyone's property near that river was damaged, except Zendele's. Somehow, her house barely had any water in it. It made no sense. It felt like protection. She hadn't seen anything strange since. However, she feels protected. And deep down, she believes that if she's ever taken, it won't be to harm her. It would be an initiation. She kept dreaming of going into the river and returning with some kind of bag. She had this dream twice already. Zendele says that she hopes she's never in a situation where she disappears for 6 months or more. She says she lives alone, so no one would know where the hell she's at. Zendele says she forgot to mention she loves hiking and doing volunteer work, especially cleaning up forests and riverbank. But whenever she goes near the water, something would always happen without fail. Like she would cross a river and somehow get wet without even tripping or getting in the water. She's on a boat. A huge fish would come out of nowhere, jump, and splash them. She would always see signs of, I'm sorry if I butcher this, Umnikazi Wamanzi. Good luck pronouncing that. Thank you. It's like the spirit of the water. It is always near Zendele. Sometimes she would just see one tree swaying while all the other trees are still. Or she would notice a mini whirlpool that no one else can see. It's like the water is calling her. Even family events, celebrations, funerals, there's always rain. She says she stopped celebrating her birthday because it rains every single year, no matter what she plans. So yeah, I really do believe that my ancestors are water people. I believe you because the story ended at 4:44. Thank you so much for submitting your stories in the link. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, please feel free to submit it to me, either by messaging me right here on TikTok or going on my Instagram and sending me a DM. While you're here, please make sure you follow me on Instagram just so that I know that it's real. Duh. I'm trying to get to 10K. Please get your girl to 10K. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for longer, better, and spookier stories. Like I say in every single video, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. South African people, y'all got competition. If y'all think y'all the only ones that experience mermaid sightings, Zimbabwe said, hold my purse. Hold on, like there's articles about this. The mermaids in Zimbabwe apparently be wilded. So according to this article, Samuel Sipepa Nkomo told a Zimbabwean parliamentary committee that terrified workers are refusing to return to certain sites near the towns of Gokwe and Mutare. And the minister, Nkomo, said the only way to solve the problem was to brew traditional beer and carry out any rites to appease the spirits. The Zimbabwean government has blamed delays to two essential infrastructure projects on the presence of mermaids. According to this other article here that I found, it says, and I quote, opinions about the existence of mermaids varies throughout Zimbabwe. Some people are skeptical, but some firmly believe that mermaids exist in Zimbabwe. Dating back centuries, many mermaid stories continue to make their rounds in Zimbabwe. One tale says mermaids carry humans underwater, but if there's a public outcry, their relatives might never see them again. But another tale suggests that victims can return as spirit mediums if their disappearance is not mourned. And according to the senior politician, mermaids were also present in other reservoirs. And I quote, we even hired whites thinking that our boys did not want to work, but they also returned saying that they would not return to work there again. Imagine thinking it was a racial issue. Your black workers just did not want to work in this particular reservoir, so you just hired white ones instead. They all had the same experience. So the two long overdue reservoirs are considered essential if Zimbabwe is to provide adequate water to its population and to boost its agricultural production. Reason for Zimbabwe reservoir delays. Mermaids have been hounding workers away. You can pause to read if you'd like. The local government, Rural and Urban Development Minister Ignatius Chombo said the government wants to give the population the water it needs, but cannot do so until the rituals are performed and necessary repairs can be carried out. This isn't a joke. The mermaids have harassed workers installing water pumps at a dam near the small town of Gokwe in northern Zimbabwe, according to local media reports. Water Resources Minister Samuel Sipepa told the Senate committee last week that work on the pumps at Gokwe Dam has stopped after terrified workers complained of machines breaking down under mysterious circumstances and blamed mermaids. I wound up finding several more articles about this. Literally. I read through all of this, so you don't have to. Let me know if you guys want a part 2. But it seems like it's pretty public knowledge, at least in Zimbabwe, that mermaids exist out there. Even the government is proceeding with caution. I don't know, are there any Zimbabweans here that want to submit a mermaid encounter, that want to submit some stories? Because a lot of the mermaid encounter stories I've been getting have been from South Africa. Y'all need to take me to Zimbabwe real quick. Anyway, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. This is really a story of how truly wicked people can be. The story is called They Don't Feed Me There, a South African story told by my grandma. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted this story Zinle. And if I butchered that, I'm sure you guys are gonna tell me. So this is a story that Zinle's grandmother told her. A true South African tale passed down through generations. It was once a man who lived with his 8-year-old son. His wife had passed away, and after some time he remarried. The new wife already had 2 daughters, both the same age as the boy. At first, everything seemed fine. The 3 children lived together as siblings until one evening, the children went out to watch a rugby match. On the way there, they got into a fight. You know, just your typical siblings fight. The 2 girls ran home crying and told their mother what happened. The mom held the 2 girls close and said, "Don't worry, girls. I'll deal with him." The next morning, the children went to school like usual. But after school, something strange and tragic happened. As the boy walked home with his friends, he suddenly fell into a muddy puddle and drowned. A muddy puddle. How does an 8-year-old drown in something so shallow? His friends panicked. They searched the puddle for him over and over and could not find him. They ran to a nearby house for help, and when they returned, the boy was found floating on top of the puddle. His body was still. His skin was cold, one eye was open, and he was smiling. When the father arrived along with the paramedics, the boy was confirmed unalive. Cause of death, drowning. His lungs were full of water. Next day, the father went to the mortuary to bathe his son's body. And while washing him, the boy smiled, then slowly opened one eye. The father froze, but forced himself to keep going. He thought maybe his grief was playing tricks on him. But at the funeral, it happened again. The same smile, the same eye. The day after the funeral, around the same time, the father heard the front door open, and confused by this, he got up to go see. And there was his son, sitting and eating. The boy looked up and said, "Dad, they don't feed me there." And just like that, he vanished. This happened again and again and again and again. Always the same time, always the same words. They don't feed me there. The father began to expect it at this point, but eventually he grew tired and confused. One night he looked at his son and said, "I don't know if you're dead or alive, but I'm going to unalive you myself if you don't leave me in peace." He looked into the boy's eyes, but he couldn't do it. The boy left and did not come back for weeks. Then one day the father was watching TV when he saw a chicken enter the house. And he shouted, "Get that chicken out the house." The next morning, he passed an old woman on the road. She looked at him with sad eyes and said, "That chicken you chased out last night? That was your son. He escaped the world of witchcraft and came to find you. But you turned him away." The father was stunned, broken. He realized the truth. He ran home immediately and chased away his wife and her 2 daughters. Then, with a heavy heart, he performed a cleansing ceremony to let his son's spirit finally rest. What did I tell y'all? South Africa don't come to play. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, please feel free to submit them to me, either via my TikTok DMs or my Instagram DMs. Like, I'm literally accepting all the spooky stories from everywhere. The South Africans just seem to submit more. That's why I tell a lot of South African stories. So when you're submitting a story, please go ahead and let me know where you're from. Anyway, like I say in every single video, I love you, my abducted humans. Please go ahead and follow me on Instagram. It's Rebecca_Journey. I just started posting new content on there, so please follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to get to 10K. And I have 200,000 of y'all on here, so that's just embarrassing. So please, just go follow me on Instagram, please. Just so that I know that it's real. Duh. And while you're at it, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for better, longer, and spookier stories. Like I say at the end of every single video, and I mean it every single time, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. If you're an OG, then you remember the story about my grandfather's journey home in Haiti. This is somebody's story from the south of Trinidad. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Mel. So Mel is from the south of Trinidad, and she says till this day talking about this story still gives her chills. One night, her eldest daughter got very sick and needed to take her to the hospital immediately. It was about 2:30 in the morning, and the hospital is a 15 to 20-minute walk from where they were staying. So to get to the main road, they had to walk through their mother-in-law's yard. And once they got onto the street, they had to walk up like this small hill. Mel says down here in the south, everything is hills, even though it's all paved roads. Now here is where it gets weird. As Mel and her daughter reaches the top of the hill, all the street lights suddenly turned off. And just like that, they were standing in complete and utter darkness. The next street light is a good way down the road, so they can't see anything from where they're standing. So her daughter is terrified of dogs. The moment the lights went out, they started hearing dogs coming. It sounded as though the dogs were rushing directly towards them. Her daughter grabs her in fear. She pushes her daughter behind her to protect her, trying to frantically get her phone so she can shine her light and see where all this noise is coming from. Mel says everything was happening so fast and it was overwhelming. Just as she was fumbling, trying to find her phone, she heard a plane flying overhead. Now, Mel says we don't really hear or see planes in the south, especially not at that hour. So here they are, dogs growling and rushing towards them. A plane overhead in total and complete darkness. Mel finally gets her phone and turns on her flashlight. And girl, tell me why there was not a single dog in sight. Not one. Mel is froze, her daughter's confused, and she's asking her like, "Mom, where did the dogs go?" And they were standing right in the middle of the road. They're standing dead smack in the middle of the road, so if the dogs were there, they would have seen the dogs at least running away. Would have seen the dogs head back into their yards. Something. Literally, flashlight came on, quiet. It was nothing, just silence and pitch blackness. Now Mel says she's kind of used to the supernatural thing. Now Mel says that she's seen plenty of zombies before, so she didn't panic too much in that moment. But she grabbed her daughter and continued walking as quickly as they can. Mel says that whatever it was clearly did not know that she had been fasting and praying that entire day. She's a prayer warrior, so she prays pretty often. Mel says that she feels in her spirit that whatever it was that ran up on them was testing or trying to intimidate them. But whatever it was, realized that they were protected and just moved on. She says she swears the hair on her skin was standing up, but she remained calm. Made it safely to the hospital, thank God. Mel says now her daughter was still in shock, asking questions, so she sat her down and gave her that talk. Explained everything to her and told her why it's always important to pray. After that encounter, her husband later told her that there's a man who lives on top of that very same hill, and it is rumored that he can turn into animals, so like a lugau of some sort. Mel says that she doesn't know if it was him that night or something else, but they never experienced anything like that again. Haiti, we're not alone. Thank you so much for submitting that spooky story. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, please feel free to submit it to me either on Instagram DMs or right here on TikTok. Please submit your spooky stories and submit some good ones. While you're here, please be sure to follow me on Instagram just so that I know that it's real. Duh. We're so close to 10K. Like I say in every single video, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. Okay, stop scrolling. I need to know if I'm tripping or what. Or maybe I'm just messy. I don't know, but y'all let me know. If you're an OG, then you knew that at some point I wasn't fucking with my sister, right? Pretty much, if you don't know, my sister was a major help for me when I first moved out into this apartment. She co-signed me on the apartment, and when I fell short like 3 months of rent. She covered those for me. Basically told me that I owe her in the future. And pretty much, my sister was putting a lot of pressure on me at the time to pay her back right away. And at the time, I didn't have no money. And mind you, even though she only paid 3 months of rent for me, which comes up to $5,000, she then decided that she was going to add all the times that she helped me out with food and things like that into the tab. So instead of me owing her 5 bands, I now owe her 10 bands. This is the type of family I'm from, yes. But that's not even the point of this video. So my sister and I, we winded up falling out and we stopped speaking for 2 years. So now we got this cousin. In those 2 years that me and my sister wasn't talking, everybody was trying to get us, to start to rekindle our relationship. I have this cousin, we're gonna call her Linda. Linda's mom cooks, so I would go to their house here and there, and she only lives like 10 minutes away from me to go get food. Now Linda also happens to be friends with my sister. So even though my sister and I weren't talking, Linda still had a good relationship with my sister. And she also had a good relationship with me as well. And considering that I'm doing social media, she's always been supportive of me. I'm the type of person, even though I'm not fucking with my sister right now, that don't give you or anybody else the right to be condescending to her, to talk shit about her, or to drag her name, not in front of me. I don't give a fuck if my sister and I were not talking, I will still fight a bitch. Because at the end of the day, that's my sister. So one day I go to Linda's house, I grab my food, and then I go to chill with her for a little bit to do a little catch up. And Linda told me, girl, I actually just came back from vacation with your sister. Again, I never hated my sister. My sister was always my best friend growing up. Now, we have a very tumultuous relationship. We do not come from the most loyal family, but we pretty much keep that in the immediate family. So Linda pulls me in. She's like, yeah, I just came back from vacation with your sister for my birthday. And Linda starts venting to me about my sister. And Linda's just like, yeah, your sister's so embarrassing. And yo, she got so fat. Like, she's so fucking obese. She was so embarrassing the whole trip. Such an inconvenience. She was being clingy. I wanted to do this, but she wanted to do that. And she emphasized just how big my sister got. And I start getting emotional because wow, you're her cousin, and the way you approached the situation was 100,000% to gossip. She came up to me like, girl, I got tea for you. My sister's fat, ugly, disgusting, and an embarrassment. So I start crying because I don't know if you thought you telling me this about my sister was gonna make me feel good because we're not talking, but it actually doesn't. It does the opposite. It actually makes me feel quite sad. Because I was there with my sister and I fucked with my sister regardless of her weight or what she physically looked like. And then this girl, her cousin, our cousin, then says, I cannot wait for me to go on your sister's birthday trip just so I can ruin her birthday trip too. That's where I draw the line. I don't give a fuck if I'm not fucking with my sister. You're not gonna be a snake to her. That's exactly what the fuck you are, a snake. And I knew from that moment I was never gonna fuck with my cousin like that because you did that for what? Long story short, my sister and I, we started talking again shortly after that, and guess what I did? First conversation, I told my sister verbatim what Linda told me. And I did that because my sister was telling me how she's planning this trip with her cousin and this, that, and the third. So I said, yeah, you might want to take a halt on that. Because that same cousin was telling me how you a fat bitch. So then my sister had to make a difficult decision of canceling her own cousin out of her birthday trip. And if y'all want to know how my cousin reacted, because this all blew up, I'm going to do that in the next part of the video. But her reaction shows me one thing and one thing only. People don't take accountability. Second of all, just because you don't fuck with your family or you have no sense of loyalty towards anybody in your life doesn't mean everybody around you is the same. I genuinely hope that this played as a learning lesson to mind your fucking business. Especially when it comes to family. I don't get involved in people boyfriend drama or family drama. So I guess what I'm asking is, was I wrong for telling my sister exactly what my cousin told me about her, knowing that my sister was planning a birthday trip with the same snake? So I'm the bad guy? I don't know. Y'all let me know. Let me know what y'all would do. So pretty much after my sister cuts out her cousin from the birthday trip, it be your own mans. It really do. It be your own cousin. So the way that I told my sister to do it, okay, the thing is with me is if you're shady, I'm shadier. If you're bad, best believe that I'm worse. I like to play people's own games with them. Meaning, if you're a shady person, I'm just gonna beat you at being shady. So when I told my sister about the conversation, she was like, well, how should she handle it? I told her, be shady about it. Basically, text her, letting her know that something came up and she can no longer attend your trip. And basically, our cousin is just gonna watch us go on a trip together because I'm gonna post about it. And from there, she's gonna put 2 and 2 together and understand what happened in the future. But my sister wanted to voice how hurt she was to our cousin. But pretty much though, she did wind up texting my cousin shortly after that, letting her know that she cannot come on her birthday trip. To which my cousin tries to call me. Now, funny thing is, the whole time that my cousin and my sister is texting about this, my sister's texting me. Boom, my cousin is now calling me. So now I'm like, I don't pick up the call because I was at work, and then my cousin texts me. She said, girl, call me. Hold on, I'm at work right now. What time you finish? 8? Why? What's up? You can text me though. I already know what's up because my sister was texting me on the other line. She says, okay, call me after. Yeah, I'm gonna stop fucking with your sister because she just pissed me off. So I said, I feel like I have a clue why. Bruh, what you thinking? I spoke to her yesterday and I told her what you told me about your last trip, and she didn't like that because she didn't know you even felt like that, and her feelings were hurt and it's giving fake. And I said, I told her to speak with you, but she's hurt and she doesn't want you to come no more. She said, girl, why? I said, I thought you said you was gonna bring it up to her. And then I replied to where she asked why. I said, what you mean? That's still my sister. And then she said, you know what? It's okay. Don't worry about it. I wasn't worried about it. And the reason why I said, I thought you said you was gonna talk to her about it was because while she sat me down and she was gossiping with me about my sister, I said, honestly, it sounds like you need to sit down and have an honest conversation with my sister about expectations, about friendship, and about boundaries. And she said that she would. So why is it that 3 months later, when my sister and we start talking again, the conversation still wasn't had? At that point, my sister's birthday trip was only 23 days away. The same trip you said you was gonna go and show your ass in. Remember? And I told you not to do that because that's fucked up. After that situation, I was like, alright, like, I know you for who you are. Like, I don't know. I didn't harbor any hate towards her from the situation because you're just shady and jealous. Because also, the whole time, she was calling my sister obese, saying she gained all this weight and she's so big. Y'all get this. My cousin was the same size as my sister. The same size. She was probably 5 pounds, if that, lighter. So, like, why? And then when I got my sister's actual perspective from the trip, I said, whoa there, wait a minute. Cousin left out a lot of parts. And pretty much, I don't know, you ain't hear this from me, but somebody was out here having menage a trois with strangers. But I don't know, a lot of parts were left out. But for you to talk shit to your cousin about your cousin to her sister is, I don't know, it's a little wild. And then for you to be madder than thou. Oh, and then she unfollowed me on Instagram and left me as a follower. Like, why would you do, like, remove me too? Point is, and if you pick up anything from this story, it's sisters, just like boyfriend and girlfriends, fall out. You shut the fuck up. because you're gonna look dumb at the end of the day. Do not get involved in other people's family drama. If that's wrong, then I guess I never want to be right. Anyway, that was the story from your favorite Haitian homegirl. Not every evil person wears a mask. Some just needs a piece of your underwear. I am back with another spooky story. But this one isn't just a story, but a warning. I'm gonna call the person who submitted the story Marie. Marie said that she had a strippers agency in Tobago. They all lived in an apartment near the airport. They were very, very close-knit. For their own little family, full of care, love, and connection with one another. Usually, they go out to the clubs at night when they had no entertainment shows or dancing to catch their fish. Bills had to be paid. So they needed to look good and money had to be saved. By the way, was a major rule of being a part of this family. Marie had another rule, which was on Sunday, everyone had to come home so they could all have lunch together. No exceptions. This was their ritual and it never failed. No questions, no problems. This goes to show just how family-oriented and close they actually were. So one of Marie's girls had a man that she was seeing nearby. He rented from a major client and supporter of theirs. That client's sister, who managed the property, was known for not liking the girls. She continuously disrespected and embarrassed this particular dancer. We'll call her Darky. You know, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. We won't call her Darky. We'll call her Melanin. So Melanin took the disrespect for a long time, quietly and out of respect for elders. This woman, we'll call her Ras, always tried to tax the girls like she's asking them for money. Eventually, Melanin had enough and gave Ras the best Trinidadian cussings. She cussed she out. I'm so sorry. So that same Sunday, Melanin came home for lunch like always. This time, something was off. She'd say a few words, faint, and stop breathing. And then she'd come to, say a few more words, faint, and stop breathing again. This just kept happening. Marie knew something was wrong. The way it repeated just confirmed it for Marie, so she called a cousin, a well-known spiritual mother. She told Marie to put garlic under Melanin's nose, repeat a specific psalm, and to bring her over immediately. So they did that, rushed her over where Mother was already waiting in her parley, which was her shrine. She was sitting on the floor, legs crossed, and she told them to sit as well. Melanin had to lie down in the center of the room. Mother wore thick silver bangles on her wrists and even heavier anklets on her feet. She looked at Marie and said, "Well, thank God you brought her now." She then explained that she would be going into a trance and that her youngest son would translate everything. She started praying and slamming her palms on the floor and the entire room just starts shaking. She began speaking in French Creole patois. Marie can only understand a word or two. Her son, let's call him Sonny Boy, translated. Sonny Boy translated, "Did you leave your underwear somewhere? There is a woman with locks, a very dark woman, not just in skin tone. What is with the color, but with dark jealousy? She took your underwear to the cemetery." Mother slammed her hands down again and the room shook even more violently this time. She kept speaking in tongues and Sonny Boy continued translating. Marie says she can't remember everything. She remembers Mother crying. She said this young, beautiful life, Melanin, did not deserve such jealousy, envy, or evil. Mother chanted, anointed Melanin's body with oils, used different spiritual tools. The translation stopped as Sonny Boy then focused on handing her what she needed. Marie said, let me say this, that parlay was a concrete structure, but the way it shook, it felt like a damn earthquake. After the ritual, Mother gave each of them spiritual protection, praying over them, rubbing oils into their skin. Then she hit the floor one final time. Quaking returned, but softer. She came out of her trance. Melanin then got up and she was back to normal. Until this day, she never had another episode. No fainting, no loss of breath. Ras, on the other hand, was later seen wandering the streets, dirty, mentally unstable, and begging for money. She confessed to taking one of Melanin's panties from the line where she hung her clothes and taking it to the crossroads at a cemetery to do her evil spiritual work. That same work, it got sent right back to her. What Ras meant for harm, Mother returned to sender. The evil that Ras had intended for Melanin had fell right back on her own head. Marie said she will always have a special love, respect, and admiration for Mother. Even in death, she showed up for her. Passed about 2 years ago. Well, I am so sorry for your loss. Wow, I did not know that Tobago got down like that. This one was definitely a spooky one. If this is your first time seeing my face, or you haven't already, make sure you follow me on TikTok for more spooky content. This is my official TikTok announcement. I have officially dropped merch. Make some noise, y'all. What the fuck? I currently have 5 products in my Printify store. So to all my OG, if you are an abducted human, then I have so many options for you. So you're going to click the link tree right there. Then you're gonna click link tree right there. Then it's gonna bring you over. You're gonna click Nayla merch, and then it's gonna bring you over. So it's been a while since I've done an update on my life. So if you're wondering what's going on in Nayla's life, don't scroll. While there's a lot going on right now, there always is, and I'll make like a different video about like my family dynamic, because apparently me and my father started talking again. I'm gonna make that a separate video. But the newest thing is, and this is a long time coming because I've been talking about this for a long time, I finally came out with merch. Make some noise, y'all. What the fuck? And before you ask, we do international shipping. We have different products that cost different prices. So if you want something a little bit more affordable, we have that. So this is the start to the actual merch that I actually want to do, because I don't actually want to keep using Printify. If you've been watching Spooky Stories here for a long time and you support me, your homegirl, your favorite Haitian homegirl, please go ahead and support me by getting your very own abducted human merch. So you're going to click the link right here, the link tree. Then you're going to click that again. It's going to bring you over where it says Nayla merch. You're going to click that and it will bring you right over to my Printify store, which, as you guys can see, has an array of options for you guys to choose from. YouTube was actually the first to know about it, but now I'm letting y'all know. That's the announcement. Thank you guys for listening. Like I said in every single video, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. She was only one, but something came for her soul, and I saw it with my own eyes. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted this story Lebo. Or is it Lebo? This is another one from South Africa. We'll call this one Abducting My Daughter's Soul Gone South. So Lebo is a 27-year-old woman, and she was born with a spiritual gift. She came from a family with gifts too, but they never fully accepted their gifts or connected to it. But they still see things through dreams, visions, etc. And since Lebo was a child, her family has been fighting spiritual attacks. But Lebo herself, she can sense when something bad is about to happen. She can feel people's intentions, especially if they're dangerous or jealous. She said that that gift has left her with black spots all over her body, marks from spiritual warfare. So Lebo got pregnant at the end of May of 2020. She didn't tell anyone, not even family, just the baby's father. At the time, she was very close with her neighbor. They were inseparable. Both of them were not working until Lebo got a job in September of 2020. Everything seemed fine, or so she thought. Lebo never really believed that people could use spirituality to spy on your life until it happened to her. So mid-October 2020, she was at work, everything was normal. She stood up to take a break and felt water running down her legs. She knew she didn't pee herself. She went home hoping it would stop, but it didn't. The next day, she went to a private clinic and no one knew what was going on, not even her family. Just a kind coworker who helped her the day before. The clinic said that she was miscarrying and rushed her to the hospital. That's when she finally told her mom, and her mother went with her. But when they got there, the doctors said something different. They said that it was just an infection and the baby's fine. They gave her pills and sent her home. And normally those pills clean you out in a day or two. But with Lebo, it went on for 2 weeks straight. That water never stopped. And by then, her sisters and even her neighbor friend knew something was wrong. One morning, she woke up with green discharge. She went to the hospital and they told her it was an infection. She was about to quit her job and had decided that she was going to stay home and protect her baby. So November 13th, 2020, she had planned to go to work one last time. But that morning, while sitting on the toilet, she felt something coming out of her. She called out for her mom. She laid her on the bed, and when she looked, it was a hand. Lebo was going into labor. And mind you, she had no contractions, no pain, nothing, no signal to tell her that she was about to give birth. She was rushed to the hospital and had an emergency C-section. Just like that, her baby came into this world at just 5 months. Mind you, the hospital wasn't even equipped for a birth that early. She had to be flown out and placed in NICU. Lebo had to stay with her for a month and 2 weeks, and it was not easy. The night before they were discharged, Lebo had a dream. Her late grandmother appeared. She said, and I quote, "Take care of your baby." And that's how she knew that they were finally going home. She thought it was over. She thought they were safe, but she was wrong. After they got home, strange things began to happen. At night, they would hear movements on the roof, tapping on the window. During the day, there were birds, stray cats, and chickens constantly in their yard. And one of them always found its way inside the house. Always. Then her daughter turns 1. One night, as they were about to sleep, her daughter just kept staring at the window, terrified. She clung onto her arm, crying and hiding her face. Lebo said, I knew something was here. Something had come to take her. So Lebo calls her mom and sisters. They pray over the baby in the room, and eventually she fell asleep. A few weeks later, it came back. That night, cats were fighting outside, but in the middle of their screams, there was a sound that she can't even describe. An inhumane and evil sound. The following morning, they found an unalive cat in their yard. Now, Lebo says, now let me tell you, my family has a back to sender. Whatever you send to harm us goes right back to you. And at the same time that the cat, one of the neighbor's kids unalived himself. That's when Lebo knew that that thing wasn't playing. Then one day, the baby father calls her. He had gone to an Inyanga, a spiritual healer. The Inyanga told him, take your baby to your late mother's grave. If you don't, she will die. September 8th, 2022, 9:45 p.m. Lebo's baby was sleeping and she felt her heartbeat slow down. She rushed her to her mom. Oh, that's so sad. That was the last time she held her baby alive. While preparing for the burial, a family friend who's a seer came to ask, why did you cut off your baby's? Lebo was shocked. She said, what? I didn't. But he said that her neck was covered in. He said, whoever came to take her soul made sure she didn't survive. They cut her so that there would be no return. And that same night, at exactly midnight, her father had a dream. His late mother appeared with their daughter. She scolded him, and I quote, you failed to protect her in the world of the living. I had to fight to get her spirit back from those who tried to take her. And now, remember that neighbor friend? The one she used to be close with? Yeah. Lebo later found out that she was a part of it. She used spirituality to track her life. She was one of those people who wanted to steal her daughter's soul. But like she said earlier, her family has back to sender. Now, the neighbor has lost her job, the one that she had gotten in 2021. Her daughter came back from university and something happened. She doesn't know what. Lebo is no longer on speaking terms with her. And now she's low-key PIMPing her daughter. Lebo says she may never get her baby back, but those who had a hand in her unaliving are all reaping what they sow. And as long as Lebo is breathing, they will never touch another soul in her bloodline again. Wow, thank you so much for submitting this story. This one was heavy, sad. I went through the roller coaster of emotions. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you guys for watching this video. And in case you guys aren't all caught up, I do have merch available. Yes. And you're gonna find it by clicking the link tree. And then it's gonna bring you to Nayla merch. You're gonna click on that, and then it's gonna bring you to our store. I have so many products available in my store, so make sure you're one of the first ones to get your very own abducted human merch. Like I say in every single video, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. Do you actually believe that Katy Perry, Gayle King, and the gals them actually went to space? So if you guys don't know, an all-female team of millionaires, really, came together and decided that they were gonna go to space. Well, the trip was all of 11 minutes. And you know, something about being less than 11 minutes away from space right now is just not sitting that well with me. It takes us 2 to 3 hours to get from New York to Florida. Taking y'all like 8 minutes to get up there? That's crazy. However, right now, a lot of people are speculating, saying that it was fake news. The whole purpose was supposed to be feminism, because the people were saying that the ladies took a ride out of space, and Gayle was not liking that, because she said if it was a man that rode out of space, I guess, would you call it like a ride? No. I think we would still call it a ride. And the whole thing was they were taking up space and making space. Stepping outside the conspiracy theory that this was all fake, allegedly, realistically, in the world that we live in now, it is absolutely tone deaf for these people to go to space and come back and tell us how much love they experience out there. You don't experience love until you go out of space, according to Katy Perry. During this economy, they paid over $20 million to go. In this economy where majority of people are complaining about egg prices, for you to spend some odd millions of dollars to fly out of Earth to come back down to tell us that you've experienced a love that you've never experienced before and that the rest of us need to try it. Oh, is you cool? Besides that, the videos that were released of the ladies enjoying space just seemed a little questionable. It just seems like the way that they were floating around just didn't give the traditional space look. Their hair looked like it was flowing in the wind. Nothing was like really sticking up. It honestly looked like they were in some sort of like tank, to be honest with you. The ship taking off looks very CGI. Katy Perry had like this flower, this daisy that she had with her, and she's just floating around like, look at the daisy. People are speculating, saying that the daisy would have dried out if this was actually out of space, even if it was for a couple of minutes, because of microgravity and due to the dryness of being out of space. That flower would have withered so quickly and turned yellow, and it wouldn't look as fresh as it does in the video. And once they landed, a lot of people were also speculating. People are saying like the ship that they literally just blasted off, when it came back down, it looked brand spanking new. It don't look like there were any scuff marks from the fire. The shit looked brand spanking new. People were also looking at this door that's supposed to be something supposed to withhold pressure. Why is it opening inwards into the ship? Shouldn't it be something that pushes out? Regardless, they said that they needed somebody from the outside to like open the door, because again, they shouldn't be able to let themselves out from inside of the ship. But as they were recording, I guess somebody from inside of the ship got ahead of themselves and literally just opened the door. But they were already recording, so they were like, wait, close the door. And then stage Elon, I think, was it going to the door to like, oh, I'm opening it now. And then it opened. Why they came back and kissed the ground if y'all were up there floating around playing with daisies and having a good time? And see, I was up there for 2 seconds. But I digress. It's giving, let them eat cake. And the thing that's like really baffling to me is they're not astronauts. These are just rich people. And them doing this for feminism, ironically, takes away from the real women astronauts. The regular ones that don't have $20 million to go take a flight for 8 minutes out of space. That might have just been a fucking oxygen tank, allegedly.
Got it?
Look at their hair.
3, take us space! Tamira's in space. It's okay.
Like, that looks real to y'all? That looks real. Look at this bitch.
Flynn, I gotcha, Flynn. Gotcha.
What?
Proud of you.
But I don't know. What do y'all think from your favorite Haitian homegirl? Let's do a real actual life update. If you guys are OGs and y'all remember my pink toed lid moment stories, if you don't know, I grew up with the most traditional Haitian father that you can think of. With him, I underwent a lot of abuse. Physical, verbal, mental, to the point where I'm so fucked up, I don't even realize instantly when I'm being abused. I have Stockholm syndrome, to where you can abuse me and I'm like, I still love you. Because that's just how I grew up. My father used to whoop me for fun. My father used to whoop me if he was having a bad day. No, this wasn't just whoopings like, hey. No, this was like radio wires, belts, fists, you know, real life torture. There's no reason I should know what this feels like on my skin. And there's no reason that I should know that a thinner, more flexible wire causes more damage than a wire than this. It is 26 years later, and that gash, it's healed, but I can kind of still see it. And I got that when I was maybe 6 years old. Another one. Again, the physical abuse and torture that, well, my sister and I endured was just insane. And I still sometimes can't even wrap my head around the gravity of it. And I told the story about the last time, and I do still get emotional thinking about this, because one wrong move and I wouldn't have been here. Which is why I'm like, I'm supposed to be here, and I know that. Because the last time my father abused me so bad, I was 17. I told that story on my page already. I attempted slide. For a visual, I had used one of these things to, you know. But again, because of how I was sitting, I winded up missing my wrist and got my leg instead. Again, if you're an OG, you know this story already. I went to the hospital. I got like 30 stitches. Later that night, when my father found out about the cut on my leg, he stopped speaking to me because he believes that I did that to report him to authorities to deport him, which wasn't true. And the thing that made my dad a dangerous man was any thought that he came up with, he believed. You could show him all the proof in the world to discredit his thought. Once he chooses to believe himself, there's nothing you can do or say. Growing up in Haiti, they do not take mental health seriously, or they don't pay much attention to it at all. A lot of these terms I learned when I came to America. ADHD, autism, depression, anxiety, all of these terms are American terms. I think looking back and knowing myself and what I struggle with, I can comfortably say that both my mom and my dad suffered from some sort of mental health disorder. If my mother didn't have borderline personality disorder, then she probably had bipolar disorder or something, mixed in with depression and anxiety. I spent a lot of time watching my mom, when she was around, struggle and suffer. And my father, he suffers from some form of OCD or paranoia. And I know he does because I'm fighting for my life with OCD sometimes. And it's hereditary. You know, my father said the most horrifying things to me. I never feel safe as a person, And I can link it back to my childhood. Like when I came to America, my father would say things like, he can't beat me as bad as he would want to. If he does, and I think that I'm gonna send him to prison, he's going to show me who the real adult here is. My father has looked at me dead in my eye and told me that he will take a trip to Haiti for me. And we all know what that means. And if you don't know what that means, it literally means that he would go into Haiti and do voodoo on me to either torture me or kill me. And I'm his child. Father never even helped me look for an apartment when I was moving out. And yes, I told him I was moving out. He had a car, never drove me to go look at any apartment. When I was looking for apartments, I kind of went with whatever friends were available. And if they weren't available, then I went by myself. And my sister lived in Philly at the time and we were cool. And she was telling me like, what to look out for when I'm looking for apartments. I finally wound up getting this apartment. My father didn't know where I lived for a long time. The man never even came to visit me. He wouldn't come inside my apartment. When I moved out, I accidentally left with some shoes that his ex-girlfriend let me borrow. That man never asked me how I was doing, how the move was, nothing. The only time I heard from him was to cuss me out because I'm a thief, because his ex-girlfriend had asked him to ask me about the shoes. And mind you, I had just moved out, so things were all messed up. And I have my dad literally pressuring me about some shoes, calling me a thief. So I found the shoes and I finally went back to return the shoes to her. And come to find out, she didn't even care. So I ended up going no contact with my dad after 8 months of moving out. And we just started speaking again. And I don't know how I feel about it. Because apparently since I left, at least according to my sister, he had this character development where he realized that he could lose all his kids. And now apparently the man is a sweetheart. I'm the one who opened up the line of communication because I really needed information from him about our family. And he just kind of kept texting me after that, like bringing me stuff. And I'm just having a hard time. And it's weird because I feel bad for my dad and I feel guilty because I want him to be well. And I just need space. Like I constantly need space from everyone in my life. But I don't know. I made this video because it really does help to exercise some of these thoughts and feelings that I do have. Say, if you had good parents, hug them, man. Anyway, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. Imagine you wake up and you find a video of you and your man sleeping on your phone and no one else lives with y'all. I am back with another spooky story. Someone says someone took a video of us sleeping, but no one was there. I'm gonna call the person who submitted the story Anna, and they are from Trinidad. Anna says that this story still creeps her out till this day because she has no idea what happened or who was involved. So she lives in the city, but her boyfriend lives in the countryside. Where he stays, there aren't a lot of big places or businesses. His house is basically in the middle of the forest. The neighbors, they're so far away you can't even see their houses. Just trees, silence, and more trees. Anna and her man don't get to see each other as often as they would like, so she decided to spend her birthday with her man and his family. They had a small celebration, nothing too big, and around 2 a.m. everybody decided let's wrap this up and get to bed. Before sleeping, Anna turned off her phone and set it down on the nightstand and knocked out. The next morning, she woke up around 7 a.m. So she rolls over, turns on her phone to check to see if she has any missed calls or messages. As she was, closing her app, she noticed something strange. Her camera roll was open and she doesn't remember opening it. So curious, she clicks on the camera app and she saw a video. It was 4 minutes long. The timestamp 3 a.m. that same night. Remember, the night before, she had decided to go to sleep around 2 a.m. So this would have happened exactly an hour after they all went to sleep. So she clicks play and the screen was completely black. But you could clearly hear her and her boyfriend snoring in the background. You can also hear the sound of the fan blowing steadily. It's just them sleeping. Recorded at 3 in the morning. Anna says this is the part that still messes with her head. No one knew the password to her phone. She had turned off her phone the whole night. And the day before, it was completely out of storage. She couldn't even take a photo, much less record a 4-minute long video. Until this day, Anna doesn't know who or what took that video of them sleeping. Interesting, to say the least. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, please feel free to submit them to me either on TikTok or my Instagram. Just message me. And if you haven't already, make sure you get your very own abducted human merch. They're all very affordable. If you are an abducted human on this ship, be sure to cop your very own abducted human merch. We do international shipping and we do have very inclusive sizes. At the top of my page in my bio is my link tree. If you click on that, the first thing in the link tree is my merch. Click on that and you'll have access to your very own abducted human merch. Like I say in every single video, and I mean it more and more every single time, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. I love that. Story time. So somebody from the Virgin Islands submitted this story. This one, So this one is a binding spell gone wrong. Now, if you don't know what a binding spell is, it is very different from a love spell. A love spell is supposed to basically make that person who already has love for you fall deeper in love with you. However, a binding spell is what keeps two people stuck together. So this girl, we'll call her Barbara, she met this man at this bar. She said upon this man walking up to her, he was her typical type. So without even knowing anything about this man, she was willing to risk it all already. So this beautiful man approaches her at the bar and they get into a conversation. So they get to know each other and they realize that they both actually have a lot in common. So Barbara starts asking him questions like, what do you do for a living? And she finds out that he is a CEO at a company. So at this point, she's intrigued. She's like, you fine and you a CEO? Where do you work? He pulls out his business card. He gives it to Barbara. Barbara's looking at it like, what the fuck? And when she's looking at that business card, come to find out, this dude is official. This guy is talking about all the people he partnered with, from big companies to companies that you haven't heard of. So this guy is working all over the country, all over the world, not just this country, not just this island. Apparently, he has dual citizenship in Virgin Islands and in Europe. So he does this, he travels, and he got the money. So she's like, okay, well, to make conversation, what car do you drive? And he's like, the most expensive car in the parking lot. So he buys her a drink or two and they're talking, chatting it up, night is coming to an end. Mr. Man wanted Barbara to go back home with him, and Barbara, being impressed by him and his pockets, let's be for real, was more than eager to go sleep with that man. So she does. And FYI, if you're under 18, just scroll out now. Because she said that girl was bomb. She said she ain't never experienced no Pinot Noir like this. And then on top of that, the brain, if you picking up what I'm putting down, was immaculate. So you tell me you meet a fine ass man that you're totally attracted to. He got money for days and he got the good going on. Barbara was like, oh yeah, this man mine. So over the course of the next couple of weeks, Barbara and this man continued to see each other. A month into their relationship, he goes to the bathroom and Barbara's on the bed and he leaves his phone unlocked. So Barbara goes through the phone. He finds out not only does this dude have a whole wife, but he also has a list of bitches that he's talking to. It's like he got them on rotation. But Barbara was puzzled because like over the past few weeks or this month, they've been hanging out pretty often. So how does he have time to entertain all these people? And y'all, why as she looking through the phone starts to ring? And who calling? Guess what? Not the wife, but one of his girls. So Barbara pick up and this girl is claiming to be homeboy's girlfriend. And Barbara's like, I'm sorry that you seem to be confused. The boy is mine. Thank you. But she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm his girlfriend. We're together right now, so you should stop calling this number ASAP. No Rocky. So he comes out the bathroom, she confronts him, and he's like, don't worry about it. Like, I was really gonna break shit off with all these people because you're the one for me. And Barbara said whether he was lying or telling the truth, it didn't matter because she had already decided her spot. And her spot was to be his wife. So she decided that, she wanted him to herself. So what did she do? She said, okay, well, a love spell is not gonna stop him from cheating on me. So what I need is a binding spell. This is a very valuable man. So every time he goes out and does whatever the fuck he's doing, I need him to always know his way back home. So she does this whole thing. The man had locks. While he's sleeping, she cuts off a piece of his locks, cuts her lock, and sews her lock onto his hair while he was asleep. She says this lock is like way in the back of his head, like you wouldn't even be able to tell. And she took his lock, and you guessed it, sewed it in with her hair. And she said when they were doing it to seal the deal, she always suggested something to him subconsciously. Because you don't have to talk to communicate when you're getting intimate. Long story short, 6 months, she winds up being with the dude. They move in together. Beautiful. Everything was going great. He goes to work. He comes back. But she started to learn more things about this man. Like, this man actually didn't like to clean very much. Even though she was a housewife and she was well taken care of, she admitted that the cheating really never stopped. Even though he knew his way back home, the cheating never stopped. And that was becoming a safety issue for her because she was still having with him. She said the cheating got so disrespectful to the point where random women were finding where they lived, come popping up at their crib and threatening Barbara for that man. Barbara was holding her ground. One day, Barbara finds out that this man slept with her cousin. Like, you really have no respect for me. And because she was a stay-at-home wife, when this man would come back from work and he was frustrated and angry, or say Barbara didn't cook, guess what? To find out, this was an angry man. And also, Barbara's now finding out that he didn't like to take no for an answer. So when it came to things like sex, when she didn't want to do it, trigger warning, she would always wind up doing it anyway. It got to a point where Barbara said, even for me, I've had enough. She managed to save a lot of money and take a lot of his money as well, and she created an escape plan and she was gonna escape. Day comes and Barbara successfully escaped. Except Barbara would continue to be stalked and taunted by this man till this day. She said she had went to the police. She said she relocated, moved to America. This man followed her to America. She said she doesn't even know how he finds her every single time, but he does. In America, she set out a restraining order against him. Even though she's cut that lock that had his hair on her head off, the problem did not cease. This man is stuck. It doesn't matter. This man would always wind up at her front door at any point. At least he knows where home is. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you are looking forward to more spooky stories like this, mermaid encounters, voodoo stories, you better go ahead and leave me a follow on TikTok. And once you're done, you better make sure you head over to my YouTube channel. My name on YouTube is Rebecca's Journey. You can look that up, or you can go where it says Instagram on top of my page. Click that. Both my Instagram link and my YouTube link will pop up. And while you're there, make sure you follow me on Instagram so I know that it's real. Duh. And as far as my abducted humans go, I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in every single time. And even when I don't pop up on y'all For You page, y'all make a way to find me. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. The love is so deep.